Hey, this is the franchise Shane Douglas.
The walking weapon Josh Alexander, and you're watching.
And you're watching.
Yamane, aka WWE.
Here to this podcast with Ollie Harper, my man.
And you are watching Ollie Harper at YouTube.com.
And you're watching the Ollie Harper Show on YouTube.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's me, Ollie, aka TNSAttitude, and I am back again here on YouTube.com for all things professional wrestling. Now, today, guys, well, first and foremost, brand new little bit of setting out here. We are actually outside as it is a summer night. It's lovely, fresh weather here in the UK. We've had some really great sunny days the last few days, and you just got to embrace it because here in the UK, you just never know when it can be taken away and the heat wave can go and we're back to dark, cold, wet nights going into the winter. But we are here, it's a nice summer night, and because it's a nice summer night, let's talk about SummerSlam and my predictions for SummerSlam for this Saturday night from Cleveland, Ohio. We have got 7 matches on the show, definitely more than some of the smaller shows like Clash at the Castle and Backlash and King and Queen of the Ring. They was only about 4 to 5 matches, but SummerSlam definitely is being treated more as, you know, more importance like WrestleMania, and is definitely up there. So they've got 7 matches on the show. Going to give you my predictions and let's talk about it. So this show, I feel, you know, stadium show, I'm expecting some big moments to really take place, you know, and to kind of compare it back to being like the summer WrestleMania, I think it's fair to say, you know, I feel like they always do try and put a little bit more focus on SummerSlam. You know, it focuses in very much for the next 12 months of storylines going to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. So SummerSlam feels like a bit of a, I don't want to call it a threshold, but it definitely feels like a bit of a moment in the year where a lot of stuff that was from, you know, the spring can wrap up now, and now they can start to focus on the fall and the winter going into the next part, going into the next one, which will be WrestleMania 41. So, but for this show, let's start off. So we've got, I think I was better off discussing, you know, we've got 2 women's title matches, we've got the 2 men's mid-card title matches, we've got a grudge match, and we've also obviously got the 2 World Championship matches. So we've got a lot of matches on there to really get through. I'm going to start off, let's talk about one of the first, which will be Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker. And of course, this one will be for the IC Championship. I said in the last video, you know, I felt like Sami Zayn was going to drop it to Bron. I did say that at Money in the Bank, and then obviously they decided to carry this chase on. I feel like this could be the show that Bron does win. I feel like the IC title is definitely something that Bron Breakker would be benefiting of right now, you know, to really build his character and to build his position on the Raw brand from getting the NXT call-up. You know, I think that the IC Championship, and especially after such a dominant contender in Gunther, you know, the IC Championship was really about morphing Gunther into the position that he is now, as Gunther will be going up against, of course, Damian Priest, which I will get onto. But, you know, I feel like this, you know, the Intercontinental Championship has its place to really develop these younger talents, and I think that Bron Breakker would be key for that title now, and he can keep that title. He can have a long title reign. Would it be as long as Gunther's? I don't know, but he can definitely get that title. I appreciate that they wanted to keep this chase going to really do 2 PLEs back to back with Sami and Bron Breakker, but I feel like at this point Bron Breakker should be the one to really have the rocket strapped to his back, starting with the Intercontinental Championship, see how he gets on with that, and go from there. And then I think that that is definitely where they can go with that. If they want to keep Sami Zayn around, then maybe they'll do that with keep Sami and Bron going against each other through the summer into the autumn, you know. But I do feel like that would be a great way, as I say, to really evolve Bron Breakker on the main roster. And you know, the title is about, you know, what the man can do with the title. It's all about you know, the path, and you know, there's a lot of chases on this show, and you know, they always say, you know, the chase is more fun than the destination with whoever decides to win, you know, whoever wins the belt. But you know, but I do feel that at this point, I think it's Bron Breakker's time for a mid-card title win to really, you know, put him up there and say, okay, what can you do now? So let's see where they go with that. Talking about, of course, the US title next. I'm going to talk about, of course, Logan Paul defending against LA Knight. I feel like, again, I think that what they've done with Logan Paul over the last few months, of course, having the US title, taking it to all of his non-wrestling commitments has been good for WWE. You know, they've had that, you know, that extra exposure, and of course WWE always likes to have that. That's why they've grasped it with Logan Paul being a, you know, a in-ring talent, from just being the celebrity to now actually being understood as part of the roster. I feel like, you know, this one could go very much either way. I would definitely say that I do feel like LA Knight again needs the win. I think that LA Knight hasn't really done a great amount since, well, the last time he really was quite hot was around the other year, wasn't it? It was around Crown Jewel when he was going up against Roman Reigns. And since then, he's not really been doing a lot since then. So I do feel like LA Knight, to really get back into that momentum shift, to really go back to him, I think that the US title is definitely where he should be at this point. And again, they can do some stuff with them, but I think that, yeah, I think we should get 2 new mid-card title winners at SummerSlam in Bron Breakker and LA Knight. I just think that that would be the right move for both of those to really just freshen things up as well. And now let's discuss the first of the 2 women's matches now. Talking, of course, Nia Jax taking on Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship on the SmackDown side of things. And yeah, you know, I think this Bayley title reign, you know, I love Bayley, you know, she's one of my favorites, but I do feel like a lot of people have said it has been a little underwhelming. Like, she hasn't really done as much as what people have wanted her to do. But I also feel that what I think the thing with Bayley is, she is great and I love Bayley, but I think that people are so used to her as a heel, and she, you know, she did some great things as a heel. She's a natural heel. But of course, when she was a face, you know, she was, before she turned heel, of course, she was the hugger, and you know, that was pretty much the gimmick, and it was the inflatables, the Bayley, you know, the Bayley buddies, and you know, it was all that. And you know, this new face, it's more of a grown-up Bayley who realizes her, you know, where she's gone wrong and where she's been the villain in the past, and now she's trying to, of course, just win the fans back. But I appreciate, you know, I just think, you know, she is a natural heel. She's better as a heel. But at this point, you know, if they're gonna put the belt on Nia Jax, this could be the moment where, well, I could say that they're gonna, you know what? Let's just rethink that a minute. I think Tiffany walks out as, I'm gonna throw it out there now. I think Tiffany Stratton walks out as the new women's champion, and I think it's through Nia softening up Bayley, and then Bayley could win, but Bayley's so beaten up, and they could just do the classic cash in. I'm going to throw that out there. That might not be what goes down, but I'm going to say now, I think there's a reason they've put Tiffany and Nia together, and I think that could be, you know, the way they decide to go with that. Otherwise, it's going to be a very slow burn. Although, you know, I feel like these Money in the Bank wins this year have been kind of throwaway. You know, of course, with Drew McIntyre on the same night, it's been told that, you know, Triple H doesn't really like these. It's been reported, of course, that Triple H isn't really a big fan of these gimmicky Money in the Banks. It's really more about just using it to sort of, you know, accelerate a story going forward. And I think that that's definitely something they could do here. Tiffany could walk out as the women's champion in some way if they decide to go down the road of having a really physical match, Bayley and Nia Jax, and then Tiffany cashes in some way, whether that be through Bayley being weakened, and then, you know, they could do that. But that's what I'm going to throw out there for now. So yeah, and then we go on, of course, to the second of the 2 the women's heavyweight title match between, of course, Liv Morgan defending against Rhea Ripley. And I feel that with this one, I think Liv's going to win. I really do. And I think it's going to be because Dominic's going to turn on Rhea. It, for me, feels very much like we are now at the point where we are seeing the beginning of the end of the Judgment Day. I feel that where we are with it now, we are seeing the face turns of Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. And they are going to almost, whether the Judgment Day ends or it will carry on and be a new Judgment Day, that's where we could be, and I think Liv would be in this new Judgment Day, and that's where, of course, Carlito would be a full member, because that's something they've been carried on, really mentioning. But I think that Liv will win, and it will be through a Dominic screw job, heel turn. Well, he is already heel, but he'll screw Rhea, and Liv will win. I think I've just got that early sort of feeling, and I think that will continue into the World Heavyweight Championship match with, of course, Priest and Gunther, and it will be a similar sort of situation. I think Balor will turn on Priest. That's where I'm going with this. I think that Balor will turn on Priest. Them two will then fight at Berlin, Bash in Berlin, and that again will set up Gunther's big win. He'll win the World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. So that's kind of both Judgment Day matches kind of fall off each other, and they both have similar sort of reasons for their prediction. But so yeah, we're quite a way, actually worked way quite through now. But to discuss, so we've just talked about the IC, the US, both women's matches. So let's now discuss, of course, the grudge match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth Rollins. So yeah, this one I think is going to be a good one. I can see this one really being physical. I can even see there be some blood. I think they're really teasing that they're gonna really push this one, and being on pay-per-view, I do think that they can definitely push the boundaries out there. I mean, once WWE hits Netflix, I do feel we are going to see a lot more of an edgier, more physical, violent product. We've seen that obviously in the past with Rock. He was very much teasing that earlier in the year when he had his program with Cody. But I feel like where we are with this, I think that we do see with this match, I think I can see Punk winning this match. I feel like this is more on the basis of Drew setting up another match, whether they do that at Bash in Berlin, and then they've set up the third match at Bad Blood. I think that's where this kind of goes. I think that there has to be 3 matches to really set this one up. I think that Punk will win this one, Drew will then win the one in Europe, and then that will set up this Hell in a Cell match for Bad Blood. I think that's where they're going with this. And whether Seth gets into this in some way, and it might even set up a triple threat match for the next PLE, whether they decide to go with Punk, Rollins and McIntyre at the next show, they could do that. That's also probably just me being selfish, because I will be at Bash in Berlin, so I am kind of hoping that we do get a nice triple threat match. That would be cool for that show. All right, guys, so I just wanted to come back from there. I just let it cut off for a minute, but back and to basically get to the last bit of this video. I pretty much discussed all the matches now, apart from, of course, the main event, which will be Cody Rhodes against Solo Sikoa. They've done a really good job with Roman being away and Rock being away, and being able to really keep this bloodline thing moving without all these key players there. I feel that what we should be getting at SummerSlam, I'm feeling a Paul Heyman return. I feel that's the start. I think Paul returns at SummerSlam. One, because he's already announced for Fanatics Fest, so he should be at Fanatics Fest. They're not going to sell the injury and him not be there. I get the vibe that WWE will want him back in the fold in the next sort of week. So I definitely see Paul Heyman returning at SummerSlam in the main event, whether he's out there to, get involved or distract Solo, or they could go in a lot of different directions, I think. From what I'm aware, this match isn't it's just a normal stipulation match, isn't it? It's just Cody versus Solo. I don't see Cody losing the title to Solo Sikoa. I feel that what we should get is either a no contest, or we get something where, the new bloodline just can't keep away. You see Jacob, you get Tama, they all come out, and this is where Roman will return with Paul Heyman. If they decide to just push it and we get Jimmy as well, we might get Jimmy Uso come back, then they may do that. But I feel that Roman will be at Cleveland. I've got this feeling that Roman Reigns will be in Cleveland, Ohio. And I get the vibe he will be with Cody and Paul will be there selling it like only Paul Heyman can. That's what I've got in my head. And I feel that that's the way they can send the fans home happy with Cody and Roman Reigns, two guys that were feuding at Mania on the same page, aligned together with Paul Heyman there as well. Like, it's just making me smile because it's so awesome to think that that's what they could do. But I think that would be epic, and I feel like that would be the way, because I feel like where they've gone with this, you know, they've really tried to make it out that, you know, there's no one left to help Cody. You know, Randy's gone, Kevin's been hurt, so you know Cody can't do this on his own, and this is where Roman Reigns comes back to take his position as the head of the table. And I think that is what we get. I don't see them absolutely just blowing it out and Rock comes back as well, but I think we do get Roman. We get Paul Heyman at the end of SummerSlam. I'm throwing it out there. That's what I think we're getting. I would love to hear your thoughts, guys, below this video. Please do let me know. I am looking forward to SummerSlam. It should be a very fun show. I'm actually a little jelly. I'm a little jelly people are going. I think it's going to be a fun one, actually. Definitely, they've definitely got a WrestleMania level of show right there, and I think that the SummerSlams are only going to get bigger in a 2026 go with these two-nighters, which will be fun because that will be like a Summer Mania. So fantastic stuff. But on that note, guys, thank you ever so much for tuning in today. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think about the SummerSlam predictions. And guys, let's enjoy SummerSlam, and we will touch back very soon. Thanks again for commenting, and thanks again, guys. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like. Catch you down the road for another one.